Yes, thank you, Suzanne, and hello, everyone. Such interesting and diverse perspectives we're hearing here. It's great. Our understanding of decolonized consultancy is freeing consultancy from the cultural and social effects of colonization and eliminating colonial influences or attitudes, meaning power asymmetries, systems and terms based on Northern white needs and priorities, favoring consultants who fit the criteria. So we all agree on why change, and we'll focus here on the how. And this means looking at practical action to break down unequal power dynamics and transform policies and systems. Traditionally, those who bring money to the table in consultancy systems and processes have the power to decide how these systems operate, predominantly to the advantage of commissioners, often global North institutions, and to the exclusion of the global majority. Decolonizing consultancy must unearth the values and skewed power dynamics that lie behind the consultancy system, and then do the hard work of unpicking it and redressing the balance to reflect the priority of those the system seeks to strengthen. As in our grant making, our commissioning must also commit to inclusive design and decision-making, transparency, flexibility, power awareness, being trust-based, and equity and accessibility. Now, on what needs to change and how can this happen? Well, first, we believe that we need some collective visioning, a shared understanding of the end goal, what decolonized consultancy looks like, because what needs to change is very different between making the system we have a bit better versus deconstructing it and building a whole new system, which this series of conversations, Ringo and Waxy, are contributing to. Change happens when different players come together, and we can change our systems and processes, but there is momentum behind collective action. Comic Relief is a donor and commissioner holding considerable power in this space, and we need to acknowledge this and make real strides to model humility. The following changes speak to small changes to an existing system, but they're not radical changes, but some practical actions might include setting up systems that select consultants who can work better with our funded partners and not just with us in the UK, trying harder to reach and contract locally based consultants, meeting people where they are and identifying our approach of hiring consultant. Resourcing participation in commissioning and rethinking the value of this time and money spent. Focusing less on the output. If we want something written in English for us, for instance, we should provide a resource for this. Consultants should focus on outputs that are useful to funded partners. And last but not least, changing perceptions of risk and compliance, transforming compliance into confidence and being mindful of the language around it, because there is power in our language. So overall, our approach is to, one, make it personal, take practical action. Those systems won't change unless the people sustaining them do. Two, be power aware. Funders will always have power in different forms, but we must ask, is it appropriate for us to be making this decision, or can we hold space for others? And three, enable time to unlearn and change. We're all busy and default to known ways of working, but we need to find and somehow create time and space to learn new ways of doing things. A final thought on what needs to change is that these systems are made up of people. So there is also a need for individual personal work on anti-racism in order to interrogate our own specific and unique experiences and positions in the sector, looking at who we are, not just our jobs. Now, on roles different actors need to play, Comic Relief is speaking here today, but we're also here to listen from the diversity of experience on this panel in the audience, and learn about what decolonizing consultancy means to others here and how we can take less space. As an organization, we commission much more broadly than research and learning, like for operational support, fundraising, storytelling, both in the UK and internationally. And in all these areas, Comic Relief is trying to improve our commissioning and consultancy to be more power aware and scrutinize our systems and processes. We won't and haven't always got that right, but what we can do as a visible and relatively high profile organization in the UK at least is advocate for change, demonstrate what we're doing, share successes and failures, and learn from others. Ultimately, having set up and operated in this existing system, consultants globally have learned to play the rules required to succeed, using the jargon, writing technical reports in English, etc. We can't just change the rules, even with the best intention, without ensuring that consultants know, understand, and trust our intentions, or we might inadvertently exclude. Thank you.